This video will show you how to fix the most common issue with the 1978 Mattel Drive Command Radio Control model cars and trucks. While being treated for multiple myeloma bone cancer, I had very limited mobility but could work from my computer desk in my bedroom. I purchased 10 broken Mattel Drive Command Radio Control model cars and 1 broken Drive Command Radio Control model truck from eBay. All but one I was able to fix, while the last model car had a defective main control printed circuit board. It is difficult to fix the main control printed circuit board as Mattel did not make the schematic public. In most cases, it is best to replace the main control circuit board from a donor Mattel Drive Command Radio Control model car. Although I have done many how-to repair blogs, this is my first attempt at a how-to repair video, so please be kind with your comments. During my recovery from multiple myeloma bone cancer, I purchased many broken radio control model vehicles from eBay so that I would have something to do. In 1978, Mattel came out with their low-cost Drive Command Radio Control or RC model cars. These RC model cars were only capable of left, right, and straight with no reverse, and additional stop when you took your finger off of the push-to-start button. Actually, it wasn't really a full stop, but more of a short coast when the push-to-start button was not pressed. In addition, due to the configuration of the RC model car's drivetrain, there really wasn't a straight either, and you had to use the remote steering wheel to meander left and right to go in a straight line. The Drive Command Radio Control model cars came in 3 varieties, the most popular being the red Ferrari 512 Racer. This is the one I had. It was my first radio control car and was purchased using my 11th birthday money from our local Kitty City toy store. At the time, I was contemplating a new accessory kit for my G.I. Joe or this remote control car. Dad said the remote control car was a better deal as it was marked down to half price. Mattel offered the Drive Command Radio Control model car as a Porsche 935 and as a Lancia Stratus. In addition, a Drive Command Radio Control truck was available called the Lone Eagle line, all of which shared similar electronics and drivetrains. The Drive Command Radio Control Ferrari 512 Racer comes in a smart-looking box featuring an action shot of this model in action. You open the box by lifting the cardboard top straight up. This will reveal the contents in a custom-formed styrofoam enclosure. The contents include the remote, 4 miniature traffic cones, warranty card, instruction manual, and of course the radio control model car itself. Packaging is similar for the Drive Command Radio Control Porsche 935 and the Drive Command Radio Control Lancia Stratus. The Drive Command Radio Control Lone Eagle model truck comes in similar packaging. The custom-formed styrofoam enclosure for the Lone Eagle truck is removed by opening one side of the box, then sliding it out. The Drive Command Radio Control employs a transmitter that is switched on and off by the push-to-start button. The steering wheel alters the amplitude-modulated superimposed audio frequency across the human hearing range. The superimposed audio frequency controls the Drive Command Radio Control model car's steering direction. The Drive Command Radio Control model cars incorporate the following: an antenna mount, a power switch. The transmitter does not require a power switch as it is normally off until you press the momentary push-to-start button, the main control printed circuit board, and finally the motorized drivetrain. Batteries are installed in the underside of the car's chassis or behind the cab in the Lone Eagle line truck. The Drive Command Radio Control model car or truck requires 2 AA and 1 9-volt battery. In addition, the transmitter requires 1 9-volt battery. Very rarely are there issues with the Drive Command Radio Control transmitter. Just make sure there is a fresh 9-volt battery installed. If there is an issue, it is typically with the push-to-start button not making contact due to tarnish or corrosion. In order to test the transmitter, you can tune your shortwave receiver to 27 MHz AM or amplitude modulation. When you press the push-to-start button on the transmitter, you should hear a tone on the shortwave receiver. The tone should vary as you turn the steering wheel. You could also use a vintage low-cost 27 MHz walkie-talkie to pick up the signal as well. Note, the transmitter for the Drive Command Radio Control Porsche 935 operates at 49 MHz. This allows this model car to work in the vicinity of other Drive Command Radio Control cars without interfering with their operation. The most common problem with drive command radio control model cars and trucks is that after fresh battery installation and the power switch on, there is no response. The vehicle is completely dead. This is typically caused by the commutators in the DC or direct current motors being completely tarnished with age. The tarnish prevents good electrical contact between the motor's brushes and the commutator. 5 screws, circled in red in the picture, hold the top shell to the chassis. The model truck disassembly is slightly different. Time to liberate the drivetrain from the drive command radio control model car or truck by desoldering the red, blue, and yellow wire from the main control printed circuit board. It is important to remember where these wires connect. Next, you need to remove the 2 screws, circled in red in the picture, that hold the drivetrain in place. Once the drivetrain is free, remove the 3 screws circled in red that hold the 2 halves of the drivetrain together. The drivetrain contains 2 slot car motors and gearing that allows the wheels to freely spin when each motor is not energized. The 2 slot car motors are wired together and share a common positive connection. You must remove them from the drivetrain as a unit. First, I recommend lubricating the slot car motor shafts. I use Labelle 108 oil intended for model trains as it is safe on plastics. I place a drop of oil on the shafts that enter the front of the slot car motors and at the rear as well, then manually rotate the shafts to work in the oil. I then cut a small strip of 800 grit sandpaper, then secure it to the end of tweezers. First, I manually rotate the shaft of the motor with the sandpaper in contact with the commutator. I then see if I have removed enough of the tarnish that the motor spins on its own when energized by 2 AA batteries in series. I then let the sandpaper strip right on the commutator as it spins under power to clean the remaining tarnish off. An important test is to see if each of the slot car motors spin freely without help when powered by 2 AA batteries. It is important to retest the motors when reinstalled in the drivetrain. Once again, connect 2 AA batteries in series with the positive connected to the red wire. One wheel should spin when the negative is connected to the blue wire. The other wheel should spin when the negative is connected to the yellow wire. The drivetrain is then reattached to the chassis using 2 screws and the triangular shaped bracket. Time to resolder the wires from the drivetrain to the main control printed circuit board. The top shell just sits on the bottom chassis. Reinstall the 5 screws, then the batteries, and finally the battery cover. Time to test. As you can see from my short video, the drive command radio control model car really doesn't go in a straight line, but instead goes in curved arcs. Thank you for watching this how-to repair video on 1978 Mattel Drive Command Radio Control Model Cars and Trucks. Please like this post and subscribe to Rust Belt Vintage Toy Repair so that you're alerted my future posts. Thank you.